In this problem, we are given a couple of real-world situations and asked to determine if they represent functional relationships. So remember that when we use the word function, it is in a mathematical sense, not in kind of an everyday colloquial sense. So we need to remember our definition of a function where we have a single input associated with a single unique output. So here for part A is the number of children a couple has, a function of their income. So is number of children in a family a function of income? And we're assuming that that's yearly income. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a sample table of input and output. And what I'm going to try to do is kind of break this situation, see if I can show that it's not a function. Often that's easier than showing that it is. So income is input, number of children is output, and the way we know that is number of children dependent on income. So income is input, number of children is output. So let's assume that a family makes $40,000 a year and they have 2 children. Another family also makes $40,000 a year. Is it the case that they have to have 2 children? No, they could have 3 children or 4 or 0. So the income we cannot use as a predictor for number of children in a family. So because we have this situation here where we have repeated inputs, so repeated 40,000 with different outputs, we do not have a function. The second situation is your weekly pay, a function of the number of hours you work each week. So your weekly pay, I'm just going to put pay here, but that's your weekly pay. Is that a function of the hours that you work? Well, we hope that that's a functional relationship because we'd like to be able to predict how much money we're going to make in a given week. Let's see what this says. Assume you work at an hourly rate job with no tips. So just for the sake of understanding, let's assume that our job pays $15 per hour. So if we work 10 hours in a given week, 10 times 15, we would make $150. If I worked 10 hours in the next week, assuming the same rate of pay and no tips, I would also make $150. If I worked 20 hours in a given week, I would earn $300. So it's pretty safe to say that my hours is going to predict the pay that I'm going to get in a given week. In other words, I'm not going to have a case where I have a repeated input with a different output. And the way that we can say that is that yes, we have a function and that each input is assigned, easy to say, not so easy to write, a single